Hey there, welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you're here, or welcome back if you are a returning subscriber. Thank you for subscribing, by the way. And if you don't already subscribe, go ahead and be sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, like me, share me with your friends. There you go, you know the drill. Anyway, so we're going to do this crossbody bag, little travel bag, and it's made out of a placemat, of course. You know I love placemat projects. Little vintage button, Tim Holtz little word impression thing, a pocket off of a pair of jeans, and so it's got two little pockets. Now these placemats, I know that some of the comments I get is like, I can't find the placemats that you're using. Well, these are from the thrift store, and they're quilted. This is a two-sided one. I have 4 of these, and I have 2 of the ones that I just used, the ones that are and they're reversible. Both of these are reversible. They're clean and good quality. Anyway, I'm gonna put those in my Etsy store. So if you want to use the same, you want to do this project now. The pockets, you're on your own for the pockets. Anyway, it's a pretty easy project. Might take a little bit of sewing skill, and some little bit of handwork, but it's not too bad. So be sure, don't go away. Stay here and I will show you how to make this. Well, I trip to the thrift store and I found 3 of these reversible placemats that are quilted with a little scallop edge, and then I found 4 of these turquoise and yellow reversible placemats, and I'm going to use one of these to do this sample today, and then I'm going to put the other ones in my Etsy store, so in case you don't find what you're looking for at the thrift store, I mean, the hunt is so much fun. Anyway, you can purchase these in my Etsy store. The other thing I found at the thrift store was this mini skirt, which I would never ever wear, but anyway, I'm too old for that and too chubby of legs. But it's got this really cool pocket, so I think I'm going to salvage off this pocket, and it's the right shade of like this denim-y blue chambray, and this placemat has a stain, so I'm going to cut over on this side, so I'll cut this away. So basically this placemat, these placemats are 13.5 by 19, which is a wonky kind of size. The Pioneer Woman placemats, which you can still get at Walmart, they are 14 by 19. Most of them are like 12 by 18. But anyway, so and I've got this a little bit long. That's okay, so it can kind of accommodate other placemats. So I'm going to cut it 7 inches wide to start off with. So I'm going to get rid of the scallops here and here. We're going to put some denim edge along the sides. We're going to cut some of that denim from that little mini skirt thing and make our sides. So this would be my halfway mark. So put that in the middle of that thing. Let me get over here where the stain is so I can make sure I got that stain cut. So I'm going to put that halfway in the middle of that little scallop right there. Now if your placemat doesn't have a scallop, you don't need to worry about that, but it might have a pattern that you would really rather that pattern, you know, line up straight, or so, you know, just kind of play with that a little bit. All right, let's see how we're looking. That's going to be like that. Now to decide what I want on the outside, and I really think I want this ticking on the outside, and so then I will flip that down. We'll put the denim edge on here, and then we'll put a pocket on the back. I have folded my pocket in half, and I know that I need it. This is 7 inches wide, so I know I need this to be like 3.5. That'll make me the 7. So I'm going to just kind of go a little bit over and a little bit low. Now the bottom I'm going to finish off. The sides will be caught in the seam on the side, and this will actually make a dual pocket, which I think will be cool. That's not what I had planned on, but I think it might be kind of neat. So I can turn this under, which is what I'm going to do, and stitch this, and then I'll have a pocket here and here. Decide how much flap I want to turn down. So I think about like that. Okay. So I'm just going to pin it in place. Just that we're not stitching it yet. We're still just kind of playing with all of our placement. turn this over, and if I turn this under and stitch that, which I'll go do that in a little bit, put that down just a little bit, then that gives me a little turn under here at the very bottom. Alright, I think I'm going to go to the sewing machine. I serged both of my edges just with the color that I had on the machine, and so that's okay. It's not going to be seen. And I'm going to turn this under just a little bit. I've loaded this with blue thread. And I'm going to go ahead and change my needle position over. That way I can get my presser foot close to this and still get stitch. Here we go. I've determined this is where I want my flap, and so I am going to mark this with a couple of pins there and there, and I'm going to go ahead and line it up on that little piece of like a ticking stripe, and then so then I know that that's going to be my top, and this little edge down here is going to be my bottom. So mark this. Mark that. Okay, and I'm going to unpin this now that I have that marked. So I know that I want to, this is my long edge. That's going to be the part that's going to have the turn over. So I'm going to go ahead and pin this in place, the bottom, and I'll top stitch this along this bottom edge. I probably will do 2 rows of stitching just because, so that it won't, stuff won't go all the way to the very bottom of that. And then I'll line this up, and that's going to be my turn down there, so that'll give us a little bit of a turn edge there. I don't think I've got my head in the way. I could be having my head in the way. And I'm going to kind of scooch this. I've got a little bit of stretch in this, and I want to make sure that that's straight across that line there. Probably need something on here that says Princess. Anyway, so I'm not going to stitch across here. I'll have a pocket here, and I'll have a little pocket here on the outside of the bag, on the back side of the bag, or it could be the front side, who knows. I put my needle position back to the middle, and I'm going to do an edge stitch right along this edge. To stitch this outer edge, I'm going to just scoot over a little bit, and I've got this on a long stitch, a little bit longer, and then I'm just going to, and I've got some stuff hanging off here. It's okay. We'll trim that off here just a little bit. And I'm just going to flip this around, do the same thing. I'm coming in like just barely, just enough to catch that denim. And you see who's helping? I'm going to trim off this little bit of denim on the edges, even that up. Make sure I don't cut that fluffy tail there. You could use bias tape or other fabric, cut your own stuff. I'm going to use some more of this denim to do the trim with. There's the area where I cut my pocket, so I just went to the front and I cut my strip, and I've got it 3 inches, and I'm going to cut this in half this way. And that may be still a little bit wide, but I'm going to fray off the edges. I cut it 13. By the time I cut this off, it's going to be 12, almost 13 inches, and 3 inches wide. And then I'm going to cut it in half lengthwise. Some of the denim will tear pretty easily. This one didn't, but I'm just going to ravel out the edges a little bit, and you can use a pin if you want to grab a hold of some of those threads and pull this. And if you want to, even this up, you can at this point, or you can just kind of leave it raggedy. So I'm going to do all 4 of the edges like that. We'll go in maybe about 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch, something like that, just until it seems about right. And she's not seeing all these threads, or she would just be going crazy with that. So sometimes with y'all, I just work through my process as I go. I've got the edges raveled out on these, and I think what I want to do is I'm going to go to the sewing machine, and I want to, even though I stitched this down, I want to zigzag these 2 edges together, and I think it'll make it easier then to put this on and for it to hold in place. This is set to zigzag, and I will tell you that this is, with this padded placemat and the denim, it's starting to get a little on the thick side. So I'm just going to, and I've got this set to like a 4 on my zigzag. Let me see, do I have it set? There it is. There. Okay. And I need a little bit longer because I just want to just hold it a little bit. There we go. I'm going to do the other side. And I have this pinned to the edge. I have it pinned in about 1/2 inch. And I didn't measure it and mark it, but you can. I mean, I can feel that that's about where I'm going to want that. So whenever I turn it over, then I'll be able to catch it on the top side and stitch it there. So I'm going to stitch it from the back side first. I'm going to leave some off of the end and at the top also. And I'm going to go ahead and go back to a straight stitch. And I'll probably do a couple of stitches. I want this to be like a little bit on the messy side. I'm going to shorten my stitch just a little bit because I want to do a couple of rows of stitches on this side and then on the other side, and that way, because of the ravel, all right? So I can feel that this is where my edge is. I'm not even going to worry about back stitching right now. Okay, so now I've got the 2 rows of stitching. You can't hardly see them because I'm using the same color thread. And then I'm going to fold this to the front and pin this in a couple of places, and then I'll top stitch, do the same thing on the front side. I'm also going to clip this corner right here. This is at the bottom area. Here's the pocket. And so I'm going to clip that because it's getting really kind of thick. Make sure that I've got that denim out of the way, and make sure I've got my fingers out of the way. And I can fold this up from the back to the front. Let me scoot you back a little bit so you can see. Move this out of the way. Here we go. This will be better. All right. So I'm going to fold this over. Let me get a little bit of that fullness out too. Just a little bit. Make sure I'm not going to cut it. There we go. All right. Fold this over, and then fold this over again. And I have some fringe. I may put some fringe on here that's salvaged off of an old, like a hobnail bedspread. That's not what it's called. Hobnail. I'll think of it. Oh, I can't think of the English word for that. That's what they've told me to say whenever I can't remember the word. I can't think of the English word for that. And where the flap is, I'm going to go ahead, depending on your placemat, you may or may not need to do this. I'm going to trim that little point off just a little bit. And this is probably just a little bit long. Cut that off. I'm going to turn that under the same as I did on the bottom of it. And then fold this over like that. We got get everything all tucked in right. There we go. All right, and we're going to be ready to stitch this. I love this heavy-duty machine. It's able to handle quite a bit of thickness. As you still have to kind of be careful with it and go slow sometimes, but still. All right, so then when we turn our flap for the front, that's what it's going to look like on the front side. Pulling this little edge piece down so it doesn't get caught. And so this is about, let's see, 5/8 of an inch is what it looks like on my guide. Move my fingers out of the way. I've readjusted my camera. Let me get it turned again. I have 48 inches. I believe that I cut it 48 inches, and I've taped. This is like soft clothesline cord, in case you know what a clothesline is. We used to use those back in the day. Anyway, before we had solar clothes dryers. No, they were the real solar clothes dryers. And I put a tape before I cut it so that it wouldn't ravel. The safety pin in the end of the cord and the tape. I'm going to feed that into that channel. And just work it. That's the safety pin that's right there. And there might be an easier way to do this. I'm sure that there is. And I probably could have put the cord in there and stitched around the cord, and then maybe, maybe I wouldn't catch the cord, or maybe I would catch the cord. We're almost to the end. There it is. Peep-ha! Okay, I've got both of the ends, and one of the things I want to do is, I still have the tape on there, I want to tie a knot in the end, just like that. And so it's just over and through, like that. Now I'm not going to cut the tape end parts off just yet, but I will in a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to put a pin in one of these knots so that you can see how to tie. And I don't know if this is a square knot. I'm not for sure what that kind of knot is. Anyway, all right, so the one with the pin is going to be on the top, and the other one without the pin is on the bottom. Loop it through, and it's still going to come out on the top. And so you want it to come out on the top again. So push this bottom cord over, make that little X. This one with a pin is still on the top, and it needs to come through. So give me just a second to work that through. There we go. All right, so I'm going to do it one more time so you can see. Maybe scooch this out just a little bit. All right, so the one with the safety pin is on the top, and it doesn't matter whether it's on the top going to the right or to the left. The one with the safety pin is on the top, and then the other one is on the bottom. Loop it under, and it comes back up on the top. Crisscross this. This one is going to be on the bottom. The bottom one's going to still be on the bottom one. The top's still going to be on the top. Pull that through. Now, we don't want a whole bunch of end on this. So what this is going to look like, this is the one with the safety pin, and it's on the top right there. And the one without the safety pin is on the bottom right here. All right, so now we want to just kind of scrunch that in just a little bit, take up some of that slack, and tighten that knot up. And that's not going to go anyplace. I believe that that's a square knot. It could have other fancy dancy name, but it's not going to come out. All right? And it tightens up and it lays nice and pretty and flat and not a twisted knot. Now you could leave that on there if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. Get that off of there. Cut that. And be real careful with this. Don't set yourself on fire. And I'm just kind of run that off just a little bit. You can tell it's a nylon, not cotton, because it melts. Cotton would catch on fire. This just fuses back on itself, and that'll keep it from fraying. Let that cool, don't burn yourself. Did I already say that? So we're going to go in from the back side and push that needle through, and I can take that pin out now. Pull that up, and we'll go through about 4 times on that. I've got my finger underneath there, and I can feel that the needle is coming all the way through to the back. You see that? There it is. Dee, dee, dee. Poke it back through to the front. Hold that thread so it doesn't tangle. Stitch through, and then make like a little figure 8 with your threads, and then pull that down, and I'm going to do it one more time. Make a little twist. Get that off there. There we go. There's that on there. All right. Now let's put some fringe on this thing. I'm going to do a cheater, and I'm going to use Fabric Fusion Permanent Dry Cleanable. We're not going to dry clean this, but anyway, it's a fabric adhesive. So I'm going to apply the glue along here, along this edge, and a little bit higher. Might have been here. And I've already put some glue on my ends. Here, this is cotton because it is vintage and I did not want it to fray. And so I put a little bit of glue there. All right, I'm going to put this little metal tag on here that says Embrace Imperfection, and I've marked the middle of where I'm going to stitch that down. And I'm going to take this elastic, and I want to run the end of it over almost, and I've fused with my lighter, so I'm going to go almost to the end of that and start to stitch this down. And I want to not just stitch around it, I want to catch the fabric, the thread of that elastic too. So like whenever I come up, I want to catch a little bit of that elastic in that stitch. I want to go about, a half an inch or something like that. I don't know where that's going to be. I could mark this with a little marks be gone or something like that. just a couple of more stitches, and then I'm going to go back again and then make sure that I catch that elastic, the cord on the outside of the elastic. All right, now I'm ready to knot it off, I do believe. I'm going to do it on the top because it's going to be underneath that charm thing. So I've adjusted it. That's about where I want to cut it. Gives me a little stretch. The little button underneath there. All right, I'm going to cut it, fuse it, and stitch it. And I know that I put my head right in your way. Anyway, I think that's going to be so cute. So cute. Here it is, all finished. Sweet little pocket on there. Embrace imperfection. Little vintage button. Anyway, this bag is going to be available in my Etsy shop, and then also the placemats will be available in the Etsy shop. Be sure you like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I just love each one of you, and I love your comments and your questions. I am just here to help you. So thank you again, and I'll see you next time. Bye.